Amazon has a lot of tools that is going to help you and prevent like prevailing but proactive sellers. And what we would advise doing is being on top of it continuously, constantly advising and monitoring what the exchange rates are doing so that you're profitable in your expansion in sales instead of losing money just because of currency conversion or fees or anything of that sort. So your goal is to maintain competitive and profitable pricing. What's something else that I will a tool or a tip or a secret trick if people don't understand? That's great, Ryan. These are a lot of numbers you're throwing at me. I saw all your lists. I'm sure the questions when I flip back to them are gonna pop up and see that. But when you look at it all, what's a tool that I can see and make sure the math is mathing for me? As I like to say, the phrase make sure math is mathing for you, working for you in your favor. If that doesn't make sense, but there is a cool tool. It's in Seller Central. It's free. If you're not aware of it, it's a profitability calculator. You can actually see it in Seller Central. If you go to sellercentral.com, uh, sellercentral.amazon.com, excuse me, /FBA profitability calculator, you can actually pull in any sort of ASIN, put in your cost of goods, put in your fulfillment fees based upon those charts that I showed you, the weights of your products, put all that information in there, your cost of goods, your taxes, what you can potentially assume. You can put that in there and see the difference between NARF profitability versus fulfillment by Amazon um, profitability, or even take it a step further in fulfillment by merchant capability. So if you are looking at either of those three ecosystems, this profitability calculator works for both Canada, it works for Mexico, it works for I also believe Europe. There's one that's being developed, or it's part of it as well. But all the NARF countries, this profitability calculator will work for you. All right. So now that we know all the fees associated, all the costs, it's essential to understand that both opportunities and challenges lie ahead if you're still understand the numbers involved. So the benefits of NARF. Let's start with the advantages. Again, strategically test new markets. NARF allows you to test it on a lower scale. You're not replicating the same quantity of units that you're trying to ship internationally or ship that from the United States. You're not trying to duplicate that right away. This is your way to kind of step or um, test the waters, if you will, into new international markets. So this program is a very big benefit on seeing what the capability could be. There's no need to file taxes in Mexico, Canada, or Brazil. Again, with NARF, that is that is a benefit to it because there is an assumption on customs and import duties and taxes on the customer side of things. So what that means is if I go to Amazon.ca and I buy your product from the United States, it's fulfilled in the United States. I on the product listing page, I'm going to see in the bottom, it's going to say other taxes, duties, and customs fees. So the customer, right in the very beginning, when they're making their purchase decision before they add it to cart or purchase with one click, they actually see what they would have to pay for import duties and taxes and pay to receive it. You as a seller are not having to file for that or having to pay those sorts of fees. So it's a benefit for you as a seller if you don't want to have to deal with that from the very get go. Obviously, as you grow, and there's a threshold, it's $30,000 in sales. Once you head over that threshold, you will have to, which is a good thing, that you're growing your business. You will have to file for VAT and duties and taxes in that marketplace. So just be aware of when you're testing on a lower scale in those waters. NARF is a good program, so you don't have to right away dive into the taxes and the taxes side of things if you choose not to. The other benefits of it is letting Amazon obviously handle those capabilities, but it automatically with the tools that with NARF can, if you choose it to, let it to, you can let it set international listings and create those for you. You don't have to do translations; it will automatically create those based upon your US because of your US unified account. They will create those listings for you, so you can tweak and optimize if you so choose. But those are the benefits of NARF right away. The challenges, however, to be aware of. on the flip side, you must be aware of cross-border shipping might lead to longer delivery times. So on average, you're talking 6 to 12 days for delivery, even though that for to a customer. So how NARF works is, even though my product is in an FBA warehouse, that's where your products have to be stored in the United States. It will still show up as Prime eligible, and Prime customers will actually see it as shipping in 6 to 12 days. So you won't get the traditional 2 hours or 1 day or even 2 day shipping. You're getting it fulfilled from a different country. It's going to be a longer wait time. Consumers are very aware of this ecosystem. And if it's something that they need right away, whether it be a giftable item or something, whether shelf stable item or something where they just want it or need it right away, that's not going to be an option for you as a seller, but also as a consumer. You're not going to want to have that product, so they're going to look for your competitor or another product. So it's a challenge that the fulfillment timelines, they're not as instantaneous under the Prime badge as one would expect. Obviously, the import duties for customers, they're having to pay for those fees up front instead of you, the seller. So it can be turn off if they have to pay for those import duties and taxes. Traditionally, people don't like to have to pay additional fees, but they understand that that's a capability and a possibility. But it could be a barrier from them to purchase your product. Excuse me. Obviously, inventory management challenges, there's that timeline factor, the higher fulfillment and shipping cost, as we broke down. Fulfillment from a different country will be a higher fulfillment cost than if you were shipping via FBA. It's tried and true that they charge higher. It doesn't matter if it's smaller or a larger product. Your product will be charged more because of the longer delivery timeline and getting it cross border. So they will charge you more as a seller. So that's a higher cost that you have to assume on your end instead of just shipping directly with FBA. Return logistics, same thing. You assume the same ecosystem on return items if you're selling textiles, if you're selling any sort of like luggage or items that under the terms and services of Amazon can have free returns. You're assuming those same fees and issues, they would be fulfilled to the customer. If they're returning it, they would be sent back to the USA FBA warehouse. Excuse me, and they would be looked over by the review or the returns team, and they can have it be capable for resale. But again, the fees and the cost of it returning back to the fulfillment center in the United States is going to be a lot more. So consider that in your category planning when it comes to, do I have a lot of returns for my product? Hopefully not, but there is a percentage that will happen. You have to understand those fees that come with that. And then again, to reiterate even more, the 6 to 12 day Prime shipping, it's not something that everyone feels warm and fuzzy from a consumer side of things. So the customer experience is not as fantastic in the Prime ecosystem as it would be if you're selling FBA. Excuse me. Take a quick drink. And again, just a quick moment to kind of take a step, a pause, if you will. If you have questions, go ahead and put the comment section. I don't have it pulled up right now, but if you are asking questions, which we have a couple that came in from Thomas, it looks like, I will answer those at the very end, and more than happy to answer those in here later on once we've covered all the comparisons. So for time reasons, I will keep trekking along since we have about 10 minutes left in this webinar. Excuse me. So recap everything. Dive into all the facets of NARF before program for Amazon seller knowledge. It's your best ally. So just weaponizing yourself with all this information you know about NARF. However, just understanding with any international expansion, it's best to have a comprehensive research for your product to make sure that your product is going to be successful. You want to dive into while Amazon's automation tools are beneficial, be proactive with prime management or price management, ensuring optimal profitability. Excuse me. Diving into the policies like the fees, the selected target audience. Is your audience going to be acceptable with or receptive to your product that you're selling? And then making sure that your product is it fits with NARF and it's seamless and it's not in one of those. It's an eligible product to be fulfilled by NARF. So when it's structured with that approach, as you're starting to think about all the different new products you're going to be releasing, any new iterations that come out of those products, making sure you keep those in mind again with comprehensive research, marketplace selection. If Canada or do I want to do Mexico or I want to do both? Um, Active price monitoring, again, making sure that you're watching it and not just setting and forgetting it, just like anything in our business. And then the enrollment workflow, making sure that your products are compliant and everything fits. And if there's growth opportunity, you can see, hey, maybe start with NARF and then start to see which ones are taking off and maybe switch over to the next program that we're going to talk about. It's Canada FBA. So those are the things that you have to be thinking about and take this structured approach, this measured approach about engaging and entering a new market like Canada potentially.